We've been discussing today's re-election of Mike Johnson as House Speaker, and we're now going to go to Capitol Hill to talk with Congressman Mark Alford, who will be serving on the House Appropriations Committee, the Small Business Committee in the 119th Congress. He represents the 4th Congressional District of Missouri, and he may have to run to the House floor here in just a moment as they'll be voting on that rules package that we were just talking about. Congressman Alford, welcome back to the program and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Tony. Good to be with you, and I'm so glad this is behind us now. We can move on with America's agenda.
Yeah, I agree. I was watching the vote. I actually talked to the Speaker last night. He was, he didn't know what the outcome would be, but he was very confident that whatever the outcome would be, it would be fine. And one thing he did say is that he was not going to be making deals. And I think that held fast, that he did not make deals. He simply told the entire conference where he stood. Give me your perspective on how things unfolded today.
Well, some of us were thinking this may go to 2 or 3 votes, but Mike Johnson said from the beginning, he told people, hey, we're going to stay here till this gets done today. We're not going to have a vote, a failed vote for his leadership in the House, and then break and then go to conference like we did with McCarthy. We're staying here till we get this done, or I'm not Speaker. And it was very clear from the beginning with a couple of holdouts, I think we had 3 that voted against him, that those minds were going to have to be changed. So I thought we were just going to have another vote and keep doing this. Well, he got these 3 people in a room, apparently with Marjorie Taylor Greene, there was Tom Massey, Ralph Norman, and one other person. And I guess President Trump was on the phone, and he convinced these others that they needed to vote for Mike Johnson to get this ball moving forward so that we can carry out the president's agenda. That's what the American people wanted, and that's what we now have to deliver.
So give me a little sense of the chatter that was going on among your colleagues as this was all unfolding.
Sure.
I mean, the conversations were taking place.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to play a soundbite.
No. I want you to do the sound for me.
Okay. Here's the chatter that I hear. There are people who are frustrated with the process, and there are people who are frustrated with the individuals, and there's a third part that's frustrated with both of them. And I kind of fit that mold, being in the third part there. Look, I know that this is not a perfect process, and we have work to do. There is no bill that is going to be perfect. And we're going to have to be voting, now that I'm on appropriations, we're going to be voting on some very tough things to move the ball forward, to make sure that all 12 appropriation bills get out of committee like we did this last 118th, this last year, but even more so to make sure that we get those on the House floor and that they are passed and sent over to the Senate. We passed 5 of those out of the House this year. That wasn't good enough. We did not fund the government. That's why we had a continuing resolution. And if you're going to stand against little things in a bill that hold you up for voting on that, maybe it's time to start looking at the bigger picture, that we can be more effective for President Trump and the America First agenda in getting our funding done. Now, we've got to get our spending under control. We've been over this before. We're $36.5 trillion in debt. I think it's the biggest existential threat to the United States of America. But the president's going to come out with his budget at the end of February. He is going to negotiate with Mike Johnson and with the new leader over in the Senate, Mr. Thune, and then the Democrats as well, to come up with a number that we have to work under on the Appropriations Committee to make sure that we fund our government and put an end to this intransigence in the U.S. House of Representatives, where we don't get our job done, then we go back to work in our district in August, and then we come back and we get stuck with the CR, and then it's Christmas time again, and we're stuck with what we had this last go around. That's got to end.
Do you think it will?
Yes, I do. I think here's a couple of reasons why. Mike Johnson listens to people. He understands their differences, but he's also trying to move people along. And in order to move people along, you have to listen. Mike, Mike, he is a conservative to the heart. And so he gets, he used to be in the Freedom Caucus, I believe. He gets that side of it, and he understands where they're coming from. But we also have the leadership of Tom Cole, who's done a masterful job He knows this place, he knows the people, he knows the process, and he knows how to get these bills out of committee, ready for Steve Scalise to tee up so that we can finally pass these things. The American people are tired of what's going on here on Capitol Hill. They want action, and it's our job to fulfill this destiny that we're on right now to truly, and I know it sounds trite, President Trump said, make America great again, but we are on a path to do that, and we are ready to take off. Number one, we've got to get this reconciliation done where we are able to renew the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is going to be a tremendous boon to our economy. If we don't do that, the average family in America is going to end up paying about $3,000 extra in taxes. This economy is going to start cooking, but we've got to get out of the way and help really kindle the wood under this fire that's going to do that.
Congressman Mark Alford, what's the sense in terms of the? I mean, you've returned now to Congress. You're a veteran. Compare this to the 118th Congress. Is there an anticipation, kind of an excitement of what's ahead?
I think so. And look, it was so frustrating 2 years ago, and my wife is here, and my kids were in the gallery, and they didn't get to see me get sworn in. Now I have a bunch of friends that got to see me actually sworn in today. I think there's a buzz and excitement from the new members, this new energy, new blood, and this is the people's house. All different backgrounds come together and bring the best of America here to do the job for the American people. And there's an excitement for that, the newness, but there's also an excitement that we have a leader who is under the direction of God Almighty, who wants to put God first and our country and our families, and get, as he said in the speech again today, not just to make America great again, but to really make families great again. Lisa McClain talked about that, to get back to the true American values. I've said this in my speech before. I want to get back to a Norman Rockwell America. I feel like we've been living in a Rocky Horror Picture Show under President Biden. And it's time to get back to sanity and the common sense that President Trump stands for.
Well, we're going to have that opportunity. Congressman Mark Alford, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony.